Andrew Ravens here of RavensNewsPost.com, eFightNews.com, and WrestleNewsPost.com. We're back for another sports podcast. And you know what we're talking about today, y'all? We're talking about a little bit of college football because it's college football. On today's program, I just want to run down the first night of college football real quick. In other words of the sport, Tom Brady will be playing the season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He will not be suspended as of right now for 4 games by the National Football League because Roger Goodell is an idiot. Now, I could come on here and give you a podcast about how bad Roger Goodell did his job and that Brady is... he's not going to be executed for something that he may or may not have done, according to a judge in a city that I cannot think of at this time. However, why should we talk about something that we've been talking about for the last 7 months that no one really wants to talk about, but they need to talk about because it drives ratings, but while it drives ratings, it annoys people, and people get annoyed by being annoyed, but then they get annoyed because people won't talk about the annoyed subject. It's really, really insane, and I'm getting excited as I speak about it. Could go about Robert Griffin III, basically, possibly, most likely, potentially being cut by the Washington Redskins today, which is September 4th, and it is Labor Day weekend. Thank you very much. But with RG3, before I get into this college football, since I brought up the subject myself, if he has I don't know if you know this or not, but he has a clause in his contract that basically states that if he is injured, the organization cannot release him from their said contract due to the injury. So basically, you can't lose your job because of injury. People say it, but he actually had it in his contract. Smart guy. He's currently out with a concussion, okay? Today is roster cut days. He will be paid over $16 million next year, okay? So either they're going to eat that salary cap by cutting him, or they're going to use it, pay him as a backup. And most people think that Colt McCoy is the backup of the Washington Redskins. So you're going to pay a third-string quarterback on a national football team that kind of cash. Yikes. So, what do? Do you cut him? Do you eat the salary cap? What do you do? Well, here's the thing. If they cut him, he has to be cleared by doctors. So, a lot of people are saying, well, if he says, I didn't sleep very good, I got a headache, I got a concussion still, they cannot cut him, and he gets that $16 million. So, that is what's going on in the National Football League. They wrapped up preseason, thank God, last night. That S is over with. Done, finished, say goodbye, adios, amigos. Now let's get into some college football because I'm excited. I love college football. College football is amazing. You have young, hungry players that want the light shined on them. It's very different to watch pro ball versus college ball and even high school. College is so exciting because the guys want it, okay? Because they're fighting for being recognized, okay? While you do get a scholarship out of it, and you get an education for free, you're really playing to be in the NFL, and so you need to stand out. And in the National Football League, you don't because you have guaranteed contracts. College, you don't, and I really like that. Quick, right out of the gate, I thought this was amazing. Georgia Tech, who was ranked 16th in the country, beat Alcorn State 69-6. Put up 34 points in the first half. Arizona State, which is ranked 22nd, beat Texas San Antonio 42-32. They gave up 32 points to that team. 20 points in one quarter. You might want to be worried, Arizona. And then the real big key was, actually two. One, Jim Harbaugh lost his Michigan debut. And he is now 0-3 as in his opener in college ball. But the real key was TCU, who I picked to be national champions this year. Kind of scared me. They went up against Minnesota in Minnesota. TCU's ranked second in the country, and they barely beat Minnesota 23-17. which is not good. And I am calling for a panic. They went into halftime 10-3. And in the second quarter, TCU almost blew the game 3 times. One, they were, and this was all within under 3 minutes of the game going into halftime. One, they were on the 20-yard line about to score, and their running back fumbled the ball, and the guy almost ran it back. Then they got the ball back again, and Trevion Boykin almost threw 2 interceptions in one drive. Then they went for a field goal, and it missed. So you possibly had several times where you could have got points for Minnesota. Then Minnesota decides to show up in the fourth quarter. And I'm a little panicked at this point. I'm not a huge TCU fan. I'm not really a fan of them at all. But when you make a claim of, hey, I think this team is good enough to go to the national championship, you want that team to win. And I had Trevion Boykin on my DraftKings team, so I wanted him to do well. And the guy was 26 out of 42, 246, and 1 touchdown, which is not very stellar fantasy stats. I thought his accuracy could have been a lot better. There was, like I was saying, there's a lot of points where he almost threw interceptions, which is not very good for a guy that is that highly touted and is your starting quarterback for a team that should be in the national championship game. So that was going on there. I would really, really throw panic on the TCU ball club. I get it, it's the first game, but a lot of people were looking at the 2014 season and how great they were. And I will tell you this right here, right now. The 2015 TCU ball club is nowhere near, nowhere close, however you want to describe it, as good as they were last year in 2014. We got Michigan State taking on Western Michigan tonight, and Baylor taking on SMU. I discussed that on yesterday's podcast and previewed those games. So I would definitely check those out. I'm going to get out of here, y'all. Have a wonderful and safe Labor Day weekend. It is September 4th. I am Andrew Ravens. UFC 191 is this Saturday night. eFightNews.com has you covered. Enough of the plugs. I'm out of here, y'all. Have a wonderful day.